Let's go out to California, Martinez, California, and speak with Brent. Brent, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. Happy holidays to you.
Same to you, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And yourself?
Very well. It's great to talk with you again.
Yeah, great. So you're taking a look at Celgene. Tell everybody, I guarantee you, when they hear your voice, they want to know what Brent is doing.
I bought this at $67, and then a little, like 67, 12 or whatever it was, right around 67.
Yeah, okay.
And I just wanted to get your opinion on it. It's something I'm planning on holding for a decent amount of time. I think I told you last time I talked to you, I'm doing longer-term trades. I just closed a position. Actually, it's been about, I guess not this previous week, the one before, right before Thanksgiving. I sold it and actually did really well. I ended up making 6 figures on the trade, so that was a good one.
That's great. That's great. Hey, nothing wrong with longer-term trading. You get rid of a lot of the noise.
Yeah, it's been a little easier. I just have been super busy on my house, and it's just allowed me to not have to be watching the screen all the time and just kind of partake in some other stuff other than just I was doing a lot of day trading at one point. It's just been a little easier to find something like this, and then with the intention of hanging on to it for a while.
Okay, so can I ask you, what was it that took you into the trade in that $67 area? What was it? Is there any one specific thing or a couple things that you were looking at from that longer-term standpoint?
The fact that it had come down to a level it hadn't been to for quite a while. I want to say this, it was coming into, I've looked at a lot of different stocks lately, and so I could be confusing with something else, but I believe it was getting down there with, a little bit better relative strength than it had on some other lows. And then also, I believe there was a pattern there as far as maybe an AB equals CD that had at least got close to doing that. So there was a few things I was looking at.
Okay.
Technical indicators, and then just the pattern itself that seemed to kind of fit. Sure.
Well, if you had called me, for example, on November 26th, I would have pulled up the daily time frame chart. And what we would have seen at that stage is we would have seen that it gave you the buy signal. And price on that date was between 66.86 and about 67.98. So sounds like that may have been around the date that you got into it. And the reason was because price was moving lower, doing it with less relative energy. It actually began that pattern on November 14th. It did not complete that pattern, at least according to the way that I trade this pattern, until November 26th, when the cavalry arrived, generated a bullish candle that was a bull separating line out there, and price closed above the oscillator unchanged line, what I like to refer to as Stevie's red line. Now, we would also have been looking at these TAS market profiles, and we would have said, okay, there's resistance, at the bottom of the box, 68.44, the top of the box, 70.72. Once you clear that, you're in pretty good shape, or you should be in good shape, and price should run at least to the high of November 9th. So that's going to be your next test. The reason why I say that's your next test is because if we use the Tom DeMark setup count system, there was a Tommy DeMark setup 9 count that occurred on the trading day of November 21st. Now, oftentimes, but not always, in this case here, because the stock was moving down, a bottom will occur the day of, the day before, or the day after. Turns out the day after was that low out here. So it's worked pretty well. Now, the beginning of that 9 count, because it's on the way down, where that began, which was on the trading session of November 9th, that happens to also be a natural bounce area or resistance. So what you would be looking at, in my opinion, for the longer term trade is for price to be able to clear that level. Now, that's a little different than the swing point that ordinarily you or I would have looked at, which was the November 2nd high. I'm not saying that it doesn't need to clear that too, but right now I would be really focused on the November 9th area. So that would be one place to look at. I hope that piece helps you out. The second would be on a weekly time frame. And on a weekly time frame, I would be looking at that oscillator unchanged line. That price is 73.65 out there. So those are the areas to be watching as you take a look at this from a longer term standpoint. On a weekly chart, I don't have really the bottoming pattern signals that are out there. That doesn't mean it wasn't bottom. It's just I don't have them on the weekly time frame. And on a monthly time frame, your preference here would be for this to get back inside its range being the TAS market profiles of 77, 80. That's not going to happen. But I think from the short term, you're in this trade. I see the pattern that is out there. And now the question is, what happens as price gets up into that trading day of November the 9th? Does that help you out, or what else can I help you with?
It does very much. I'm on my phone, Steve. What was the level for the November 9th?
It is the high on November 9th is where, come on, give this to me here. The high is 75.09. 75.09 is going to be a key area for you to be watching.
All right.
Alrighty?
Well, thank you very much, Steve. I hear the music, and I just have a great holiday season. And
you too. Thanks so much for
appreciate your help.
You bet. Thanks so much for calling. That was Brent in Martinez, California. We'll be right back, folks.